This is a video by Richmond. Today we're working on a 1996 Chevrolet Corsica, and the problem we're having is this vehicle, the blower motor has quit. So we're going to get it in the garage today and see what the problem is. Okay, we're in the garage and we got our multimeter all set up and we got it on DC voltage, and right now the key is on and the motor is not turning. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull off the main lead to the motor and see if we're getting voltage. Okay, we're getting voltage at the connector to the motor. Now let's see if we got ground. I'm going to take my test light here, which is clipped to ground, and I'm going to check the housing of the motor, see if we got ground. Yep, we got ground. So we got voltage, we got ground. The motor ain't working. So that motor is no good. So we're going to have to replace it. First thing we need to do is disconnect the negative battery cable from the battery. Next thing we need to do is to remove the alternator belt from the alternator. What I did here is move the coolant tank over to the side because I need to swing my tool. Okay. And then we can just leave that right there out of the way. Next we have this coolant duct here that goes to the back of the alternator. We just want to pry the rubber boot off there and push that out of the way. Next we need to remove this 13mm headed bolt, and right back here is a 15mm headed nut on a bolt. Take the nut off and then push that bolt out, and then we can lift the alternator off. Now after you remove those two bolts on the front, there is one right back here, a 13mm bolt, and we need to get that now. Alright, now we got the bolts all out, and we can wiggle the alternator out this far and take this little plastic piece off, and now we can remove this 10mm nut right here, and once we do that we can rotate it and take the electrical connection off the bottom there. Alright, we got that nut loose right there, this 10mm one. Be careful you don't drop that down in the motor right here, or if we drop this we'll probably never find it. Alright, now once we get that off, we can pull that cable back, and if you can see that electrical connection right there, we'll just pry that off, and our alternator should be able to come out of the way now. There we go. Alright, now we can start taking things off to get that motor out of there. Alright, we already took our live lead off the motor, and there's a ground right next to it. Okay, take those out of the way, and we've got a little bracket that's on the motor that's holding this piece on, so we'll just take our trusty panel remover. Well, I can see that we're not going to be putting that clip back. Alright, now we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 7mm screws, and we need to take this cooling duct out of the motor. Alright, push that down out of the way. Now let's take those 7mm screws out now. Alright, we just took the last 7mm screw out of there. this vacuum line here, this plastic vacuum line. We're going to have to be very careful with that. Alright. Alright, tip it down. And there it is. She is out. Alright, here's the new one. All ready to go in. The only thing we had to do was unscrew the ground lug off the old one and put that there. All right. There we go. Right there. So, this is all the hard part done. Now it's a matter of just buttoning everything down and putting it back in place. Okay, everything's back together. Let's turn the key on and hopefully the blower motor works. Wow, son of a gun! Did something right. And that's all there is to replacing the blower motor on your Chevy Corsica.